I think a lot of times our culture get caught up in like, oh, my first house has to be my dream house, versus if we were really taught at a younger age, coming out of college or something like that, when our credit is the best, and purchase just a house that we can rent out, and we start building that up earlier, the wealth gap wouldn't be so large.
What if I told you for $1, I will introduce you to hundreds of entrepreneurs every single morning this week? From all across the country, you'll be able to talk to hundreds of entrepreneurs, and I'll coach you. I'll coach you for $1 this whole week, and I'll introduce you to some of my successful friends for $1 this week. Would you take part in that? Well, go to themorningmeetup.com, because that's exactly what we're doing here, okay? The only organization that gathers entrepreneurs every single day for the betterment of entrepreneurship, okay? Every single day, Monday through Friday, we gather, we're growing, we're learning. We got a book club. Have you ever seen hundreds of entrepreneurs reading the same book every single chapter, every single day? We're growing together, okay? You need the environment to grow in. Themorningmeetup.com, $1. I'm gonna give you all of this for $1. If you wanna stay, great. It's $79 a month after that. If not, no obligation. You can leave whenever you want. All right? themorningmeetup.com. I'll see you in the morning. Well, welcome to another edition of the Social Proof Podcast, where we find really, really dope people that did really, really dope stuff. And today is no different, because you're a really, really dope person that do really, really dope stuff, right?
I absolutely am.
Okay, we're going to find out. We're going to find out. We met in Miami, right? And but I guess Marquel was telling me about you, like, yo, you need to have her on the podcast. You need to have her on the podcast. And the fact that you was like, yo, you said something like, yo, you didn't get my message, or did Marquel tell you? I was like, I don't know. But it just kind of just happened the way it was supposed to happen.
It was supposed to happen, because actually, when I was, back then, little old me, I met you a couple years ago. I was like, oh, hey, David. You're like, oh.
I was not like, no, I wasn't.
So I've always wanted to connect with you. So, timing is everything, though. So I'm so happy that now, back then I wasn't as impressive. I needed a little bit more under my belt to sit with Mr. David here.
You built some social proof.
Yeah, some social proof.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So I'm really happy to be here. And shout out to Marquel. Thank you for plugging me in with David. I appreciate it.
For sure. That's the homie. All right, so go ahead and introduce yourself to the people who might not know.
Absolutely. So I'm Denise Williams. I'm the broker and owner of Williams & Co. International Realty. I also would like to add that it is the largest Black woman-owned real estate brokerage here in Atlanta. So
is that right?
That is right. That is correct. Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So give me, okay. That's really cool.
There.
Let's start there. So how did you get into real estate?
Oh, I got into real estate back in 2012. So my, background is really different from a lot of agents' experience. So when I started in real estate, I worked with KW, which a lot of first-time agents go with that company because they have obviously a large
Keller
brand.
Williams, right?
Yes. Okay. They have such a large brand. But what's unique about my experience is that I actually worked for the company of Keller Williams. So I was an employee as well as a licensed agent. So in that role as an agent services coordinator, I was able to see how the company was run from the inside out. So it wasn't just your traditional get your license, go sell a house, So I was really, really close with the team leader at the time. She loved me, took me under her wing. And what was so unique about it is that I was in an office of over 200 agents. And so I would see closings happening every day, obviously with an office of that size. But what was interesting to me was that every single time a check came through, it was a different agent's name. But Keller Williams was on every single one.
Oh, for sure.
Every single one. So that inspired me. I'm like, I'm on the wrong side of real estate. I don't want to be the agent whose name changes every time. I want to be the name that sticks. I want to have the leverage, because I've never met Gary Keller a day in my life.
Right.
But his name was on every check.
Hold on. Gary Keller. Gary Keller. Did he write the book One Thing?
The One Thing.
He's
Yes.
The
And
author.
and the $1 Million Real Estate Agent. Yes. Called it the Red Book in Real Estate.
That's our book of the month next month.
Oh,
and like
it's
we
an
just said
amazing
Gary
book.
Keller, I was like, hold on. Because I read it before, and then we're going to read it again together as a group. That's amazing.
Him. Yes, that's his book. It's going to rock your world. And I know you do a lot of things. It's going to make you feel like, I've been doing it all wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
I've been doing it all wrong. So once I realized that and was like, you know what? I gotta be on that side, especially being a mother. I needed leverage. And I'm like, I don't want to just be running around showing houses. My passion is actually to train and to, develop other individuals, because I'm such a people's person. And for me, the broker seat was just a no-brainer. I meet agents all the time who've been in the business 10, 20 years, never got their broker license. I don't know why. I'm not sure. It's not for everybody, but it's the perfect fit for me.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
sure.
best decision I've ever made.
So what were you doing before you were doing real estate?
So when I graduated from college, worked in corporate America with a job that I absolutely hated. The reason I hated it was a title pawn company. It's not so much that it was...
You savages. Y'all got me too.
Right.
Y'all got me back.
We got you.
Oh, y'all got
Get your title back. Look, did you get your title back?
I got my title back after thousands of dollars. I borrowed $500.
Oh, see, and that was the thing. So I really hated the fact that I felt like I was hurting my community.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That I wasn't helping my community because we were literally trained to tell them to pay the minimum balance. And as we both know, when you pay the minimum balance, you're only paying toward the interest. None of that is going toward principal. So I would have older people coming in there with their Social Security, begging for extensions because we had a policy. It was like no grace period. So even if you're a day late, we charge you interest and late fees. So it was just a never ending cycle. I would look at some of these files and like people have been paying on it for 20 years, like no cap. And I'm like, because there's no grace period, if you skip your payments, you don't make payment arrangements, or we don't extend it, we'll come and repo your vehicle, no matter how long you've been paying on that loan. Even if you've paid above and beyond, double, triple, quadruple the amount you borrowed. Savage. So to me, I had to get out of that because it just wasn't helping. It hurt me, to go to work. It wasn't just that, I don't want to be in a 9-to-5. Emotionally, it was draining. Because I hated to see my customers come in. I wanted to be in an industry where I love to see them coming in and they were excited about what they're purchasing. So I had to definitely make a change.
Because they only pull them in certain communities.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. You will never see one in Alpharetta.
Right. right. Predatory.
Yes.
So you were working there for how long? How long were you there?
About a year or so. And got my real estate license and made that shift.
Gotcha. So how old were you when you were working there?
Right out of college. So it took me 5 years. I think I was about 23, 24-ish.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What'd you major in?
A while ago. Finance.
Okay.
Yep. Coming out of college. I actually ended up going back to school. So it's funny. I got my real estate license in 2012. And I also went back to school to obtain 2 MBA degrees. So I did that as well. So that was why I took the role with KW as an employee, because like you're going through school, that whole thing. And I loved real estate. I wanted to be attached to it. Got my MBA degrees as well during that time period. So that's in international business, hence the international in real estate in my real estate company. But also because Atlanta is such a melting pot, right? There's people moving here from all over the world.
For sure.
So I didn't want to just be one-track minded and say, hey, I'm only going to sell domestically. Like, no, we don't have to, think that small. I'm actually working with my first international client. It's so exciting.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you get out of, were you working with Title Max?
Yeah, I was getting out. Yes.
I hate y'all, Title Max. Yo, it should be illegal.
The name drop, like, look, they try to come in.
It should be illegal, man.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There needs to be more checks and balances.
For sure.
It's really crazy.
I guess it works for somebody that's responsible because they always say something like, if you pay it within 30 days, no interest or something like that.
Right.
But they know.
People
if you ain't got it today, you're not going to have it in 30 days.
Yeah, and it was ridiculous. Like, people would come in there for their birthday weekend and pawn their title. It wasn't always an emergency.
Did you get a commission off of each person?
Yeah.
So
we got
you're
commissions.
Torn between, girl, get out of here. I know you want to say, girl, get out of here.
Get out. Just get out, please. Like, go.
Yeah, I really trust you with my real estate now.
Get out.
Because you have a heart for people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you get out of that and you start working for Keller Williams. How was that experience, though?
It was great. I mean, it didn't, like I said, without it, I don't know if I would have become a broker so soon. Because I actually became a broker at 27 years old.
Did you like it? Or the whole time you were realizing like, yo, I can do this?
Yeah, I liked it. It was both. It was really both. I wasn't so cocky to where I didn't want to learn everything. I really just soaked in all the knowledge that I possibly could. So it was a great, great learning experience. And it's so funny that now I'm a broker and some of the agents whose phone calls I used to answer, I've done transactions with as a broker and they're still an agent.
Wow.
So it's really crazy that now that, times have changed and flipped the script and things like that. It's so hilarious to see that, I'm just happy that I was able to progress.
For sure.
Because obviously you're not going to really respect the receptionist,
right.
back then.
Especially when you're making like these $20,000, $30,000 closings. I know it's like cocky, like I got another one. So So for those that don't know, because I went and got my license, so I kind of understand. Yeah, I went and got it in 2005, maybe. I did a couple transactions.
Is it still active?
No.
You let it go?
Yeah, let it go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I was going to say I have great brokerage that you can come and,
I can join you. I interviewed Maya Sly. She's actually, she works for KW, but she's a serial entrepreneur. Like does
a whole lot of things.
She's amazing. Yeah. And she actually convinced me like, yo, I'm going to go get my real estate license back. But I don't know if that's just another one of the things that I'm a part of. I'm going to read one thing first.
Yeah, read that first.
Read that first. Before I get all excited to start doing all this extra stuff.
Yeah, you have too much going on.
So how long were you selling? How long were you an agent before you became a broker?
4 years.
4 years.
Mm-hmm. So I actually became... Yeah, so I actually became a broker when I moved to Florida. So like now we're going to get more personal. Okay, I try to glaze over that piece.
We won't. Well, you want to get into your whole situation, relationship, all that. Trust me.
So I actually was in a relationship and he was relocated to Florida for his job.
What part?
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, okay.
So in that situation, I decided, we were engaged. And so I was kind of stuck and torn, like, okay, what we do for love. Women, sometimes it's just like, okay, whatever you want, I'll make the sacrifice. He didn't want to be in Atlanta or whatever. So I'm like, okay, I'll go to Jacksonville with you. However, the trade-off is you have to support my real estate. Like I have to be able to do it like full force, give it my all, like, you know what I mean? No playing, no games, whatever. So we came up with a plan. He said that was going to work and everything. Got there, sold real estate in Florida, ended up getting my broker license while I was down there. And then the relationship didn't work out. Fortunately, because now I got a boo thing. That's everything.
Hey, okay, boo thing. Yes. I like that.
But it was a blessing in disguise because, I was able to still put my focus where I really, really wanted it to be. So after that whole situation didn't work out, relocated back to Atlanta, started working with a startup brokerage here.
But were you selling houses in Jacksonville?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
were you an amazing agent?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Like top tier or pretty average?
I was pretty average. I wasn't like, a mega agent or anything like that. But, I did my little thing.
Right. Okay.
And then came back to Atlanta, joined up with a startup brokerage here as an associate broker since I already had my license.
So what's associate broker?
So it's basically like you still have the abilities of a broker, but you're really acting as number two versus being the qualifying broker and have all the responsibility. So I'm grateful for that opportunity because...
Let's break that down too. Just for those who don't know,
the difference between an agent and a broker.
Agent, broker, like responsibilities,
absolutely.
What happens
so I
financially.
Can break that down. Yeah. So when you're a real estate agent, you have to work under a broker's license in order to practice real estate.
So you can't just get your license and
become a broker. So, you have to be here in Georgia, you have to be an agent for 3 years prior to sitting to become a broker. So you go back to school, you obtain your broker license, and then now you have the opportunity to get leverage. So with that, you hire agents to work under your license. So that's how you, become a broker and don't have to necessarily sell real estate if you don't choose. If you build a firm large enough, then obviously, you won't have to work in the field as much.
Gotcha.
So you still have the option to sell as a real estate agent, but you also have the option to own your own business. Okay. So if you ever want to be in real estate and own your own business, then you have to get your broker license.
Gotcha.
But you don't ever have to do that. You can be an agent forever, which a lot of people choose to go that route because of the responsibility.
Yeah,
so yes, the money sounds right. The money sounds great because yes, you have agents working under you, but you also have to understand like the liability side of it. So literally every transaction that comes through the door is technically my transaction. But if something goes wrong with it, that's also my stuff to pick up. So when you decide to level up or you're in leadership, you have to understand that yes, money comes with it, but responsibility is double that.
Yeah.
So although I love what I do, it's not for everybody. It's definitely not for everybody. And I think that that's why so many agents don't go that route. But for me, I wanted to go ahead and jump into that.
Got you. So the transition of you're an agent, you're selling houses, and then you go get your broker's license. What's the process of getting the license?
Going back to school. So once you go back to real estate school, you take another school exam, you take another state exam, and then you get your broker license. So similar to the agent process, you go to school, you take a school exam, and then a state exam, and you get your license. So it's pretty much similar. Just you're going to learn at a different scale because now it's more on compliance and how to operate a business. It's detailed. It's tough.
So how do brokers make money?
So you make money, one, from your personal sales, so you still can sell real estate. And then you also make money from every transaction that your agents produce as well.
How much? Is there a split?
Yes, so it's an agent split. So that's, it varies from broker to broker. But yes, I get a percentage of every transaction that comes through Williams & Co.
I think I was 70-30 maybe.
Yeah, so that would mean you got 70%, the brokerage got 30% of your check.
Sale. So
of that sale.
Just for instance, if a house is, let's say, $200,000, and your commission is 3%, that's $6,000. The broker would get 30% in that particular scenario. The broker would get 30%, which is
of that $6,000.
$1,800.
Yeah.
And the agent gets the rest.
Yes.
But a brokerage, they pretty much have closings almost every day because if you have a bunch of...
Yeah, depending on the size of your broker and the activity of your agents. So it's really a volume game. Because, when you go into the world of real estate and you're an independent contractor, and this is something that people really need to realize, like when you go into something as an agent, the broker is not your boss. Right. Some people, they're leaving corporate America. They still have the mindset that like, okay, my broker is my boss. Like they're going to tell me what to do. They're going to give me leads. They're going to do this. And it's not that way. So people get into this industry and they get really, really shocked. So like the stat on our industry is like 85% of the first, when you're in your year 1 through 3, you end up getting out of the business or you never sell anything. It's really that tough. So
say that again?
So about 85% of agents aren't successful in this business.
85%?
Within that first, 3-year period. If you really talk to agents, a lot of them are still working full-time jobs and then they do real estate on the side. So that's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't produce. You're an entrepreneur. If you don't go full force with something, you're not going to see the results. And so think about this. Can you name, 10 agents in Atlanta that stick out to you?
No.
Absolutely. So, but there are over 35,000 agents in Atlanta.
Really?
Yes. So if you think about that massive number.
My mom, shouts out to my mom. She's an agent.
There's everybody knows people that are agents, but they don't know people that are agents. You know what I mean? From a perspective of like, you're standing out, you're killing it, you're doing this. So think about that stat now. It makes more sense. That's because crazy. It's like, okay, I only seen, Denise and a few others really out here, doing it. So it's so low barrier to entry that people get their license, but they don't actually work it like it's a business.
So how many, 45,000 agents in Atlanta? 35,000 agents in Atlanta. How many brokerage firms?
I don't know how many. Correct me. Actually, it's not 35 in Atlanta. It's in Georgia. I'm sorry.
Georgia, okay,
in Georgia, in 35,000 in Georgia. Brokerages, I'm not sure.
You're not sure.
I'm not sure how many brokerages, because there are some that are like really, really small. Because some brokerages, some agents get their broker license and they just manage themselves so that they don't have to pay a split to a company.
Makes sense.
You know what I mean? That's why I don't understand why so many agents never became brokers. Because I'm like, even if you don't want to have agents under you, at least position yourself to not have to pay a company.
Because the only thing you're paying a company for at this point is paperwork?
Yeah, pretty much. If you're experienced. Now, new people, you really do need that broker support. And even the people that are experienced, because I know for me, as far as what's different, like I recruit experienced agents that absolutely love my company. And the reason why is because we do things differently. So even if you are a top agent and you've sold a lot of houses, certain brokerages restrict you from investing in real estate. Certain brokerages don't care about you personally. I take a personal interest in my team. So
what do you mean certain brokerages don't allow you to invest in real estate? What do you mean?
So they'll have in their independent contractor agreement that that's restricted, that you can't own real estate property or that you can't wholesale or that you can't. So we can dictate what happens under our license. So think about this. If you're a mega broker and you know that you're making your commissions off that 30%, why would you train agents to invest in real estate?
Right.
That's counterproductive.
For sure.
Because if your focus is on investing, I don't know what your LLC is out there doing. So it is a bit of liability, which that part I understand. So I have to, I have policies in my company with regard to the liability side of things. But ultimately, it's taking money from their pocket if you're not out here selling traditional houses, getting the 3%. You're getting a little bit too creative. You're messing with my pocket. So they don't want that. Mm-hmm. So for me, money, I feel like when you do right by people, the money is going to come.
For sure.
And so I try to be as open as possible to allow them to grow as individuals. I always teach my team, like, you're a business owner. I'm not your boss. I'm your broker. I'm here for compliance. I'm here for support. I'm here for training. But you are a business owner. And so when I say I take a personal interest into my team, it's like, okay, let me help you set up an LLC. Let's pay you the right way. Let's have the accountant come on and teach you tax strategies. I've even gone to, we've even had mental health and awareness days. You know what I mean? Where we're literally crying, and having intimate time and really getting to know one another on a deeper level, because you'll be with these large firms and it'll be 200, 300 agents in an office. You don't know who to talk to.
Yeah.
And half of them don't know each other's name, if not more than that. So here I really like to take an intimate boutique approach, because I feel like, one, my turnover rate isn't as high, because it's an industry where agents are just not loyal in this space, because it's like, oh, it was my broker fault, or I didn't make any money this year, so, I'm going to jump here, jump there. But I really do have a really good turnover rate, because they know and they feel me. They know the passion that I have for them specifically, and also like just their real genuine growth. And you just aren't going to find that.
Wow. All right. So you connect with an associate broker.
Uh-huh.
Explain that.
So when I was working as an associate broker for a startup, basically I was his number two, meaning that he was the qualifying broker. So all the responsibility is technically his if things, go wrong. But it was my job to still help him grow the business. So I was essentially, if you think about corporate America, you have your manager and your assistant manager. Right. It's essentially the same thing. So I would help him with recruiting. I would help him with training. I would help him with his back office, the accounting, all of those things to help him really run his business. His primary focus was investing. So, it was really my wheelhouse to be on the agency side of it, because that's just what I really, really love. So in that experience, it really helped me to grow and develop those recruiting skills, to really know what questions to ask, to know how to actually build my brokerage from, what kind of systems do I want to have in place? What kind of marketing do I want to have? So, we had creative differences, and I'm happy that I was able to branch off, because now I have full control over how I want my company to look, the culture I want to have, what offerings I want to give, and all of that. But I will forever be grateful for, that opportunity. So,
right. So, and then you branch off and say, I'm going to start my own brokerage.
Yes.
Did you start it to be this person that's going to house all these other agents, or did you initially start it so that I can just not have to pay somebody else? Yeah.
Oh, no. I started it with take over in mind, honey. Listen.
Is that right?
If you're going to do something, you got to do it. You know what I mean? So that's why this is my one thing. It's not my one thing technically, but it was the one thing I had to focus on for a while before, branching off into other things that I do now. But yeah, I always wanted to have, a really nice, my goal is not to be a KW. I don't want a bunch of offices and things like that. I'll probably have more than one. I've already been approved for my second. So that's a little drop for you. Thank you so much. So I'll grow that way, but I don't intend to be super, super big. I love where I am right now because I really want to keep that intimate feel. As long as I can hire and leverage more people so that we don't feel disconnected, I'm good. But right now it's just like, I'm good where I am. I love
How many agents you got?
We're almost 50. We're almost at 50.
Almost 50
Yes, I think we're like 2 away.
Oh,
maybe after this podcast, I'll be over. So if you're looking for a brokerage, hit me up.
That's amazing. So who was the first person to say, you know what, Denise, I'll ride with you?
That's so funny. Actually, some of the agents from the old company hit me up and wanted to follow me. I didn't solicit any of them, but the ones that, knew me and wanted to be a part of what I had going on, they came. So even to take you back a step from that, I started a company with another agent. So Williams & Co. is actually my second brokerage. So my first brokerage failed miserably.
How?
Because the partnership didn't work out. So
after the associate brokerage?
This is after that, yeah. So that was really the push to leave that position because I really enjoyed where I was. I was approached by a mutual friend and said, she said that this, agent would love to partner and kind of develop a firm. So it was like I was going to be the broker. She was going to be like the top sales agent and train the team. And I was going to be back office systems and things of that nature. Well, going into that, I was still doing everything. And I'm like, why are we splitting 50-50 of profits and money and everything else and creative ideas? And I got to wait for your approval for this and that when I'm doing it all myself. So I sent her a message and, wanted to dissolve the partnership. Well, she didn't like that too much.
I bet.
So she ended up, this is in my book too, by the way. She ended up stealing the money from our escrow account and running off with the cash in our account. Have no idea why.
How much was in it?
It was thousands in there. It was still a new firm, so it wasn't like a super big, huge amount, but it was enough for her to get a felony for it.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
You press charges?
Yes, absolutely. So yeah. So never steal, guys. Never steal.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a real thing. Like, you know, we went to the police station, had to go to court, all of that. And what's crazy, she didn't even show up to court. So she had a warrant out for her arrest. It's a whole thing. Like, she ended up getting picked up and yeah, she went to jail.
Is she out now though?
She's out now. I don't follow her. I don't know what she has going on right now. I'm not even sure if like what additional repercussions she was, but she had to, you know, she was fine. She had to pay the money back and all that stuff. So yeah, it was a lot.
Oh my goodness.
So, you know, I say that to say that even if you go after your dream and it doesn't work out the first time, try again. Because it really hurt me. It made me feel like, okay, maybe I stepped too early. Maybe I wasn't ready. Maybe I should have, you know, I gave up something that I thought was great for this new thing and now. But I feel like it was God's way of showing me I can do it myself.
Yeah.
That I didn't need anyone.
But associate doesn't work out.
Yes.
This new brokers partnership doesn't work out.
Yeah.
What gives you the fortitude to say, yeah, I'm going to do it again?
Really, I've always been an ambitious person, but this one really knocked me down a little bit. So I had to really lean on my village. And that's why it's so important to have people around you that really, truly believe in you, that really, truly want to see you succeed. Because it's nothing to like call a play right now and have the biggest party in Atlanta. You know what I mean? But you have to have genuine people that aren't just there to pull from you, but the ones that want to pour into you. So I had to really lean on people like my mother. She had been telling me so long, like, you can do this. You've been doing it. Like, you know what I mean? Because, you know, women and men are just different. You know, we are the momentum. We're going to get in there and we're going to make things go. So when I was in that associate broker role, I was making things go. I was making things happen. You know, I was up early, late nights. It wasn't like he had to write out a script for me on what to do. It's just I took it and I worked it as if it was my own. Wow. And so doing that, it really prepared me for doing it on my own. So, you know, after I took that in and then after talking to a few friends and other agents about it, and they're like, look, I want to come with you. Like, let's go. Like, you know, so.
What is the benefit of coming with you? Like, are you selling them on a particular dream or idea?
It's not really a dream or idea. It's really just the leadership. And it's also the offerings that I have. You know, I do things differently. Like we kind of talked about, even with our new upgrades, our new space, which I'm super excited about. One of the things that I'm going to do differently is having an in-house marketing studio in our new suite. You know, so always providing and leveling up for my team and like giving them options. I'm also a travel agent. I book travel. We did a company cruise. You don't hear about real estate companies doing that. We've done cabin trips. We took a ski trip in lieu of a Christmas party. You know what I mean? So there is a lot of different things that I do differently.
You lit.
I'm lit.
Oh, that's hard.
You know, and Black people on skis is the funniest thing like you'll ever see in your life. So, you know, that's what I'm saying. Like people know and they can feel genuineness. They know like Denise is going to look out. Denise is really here to help see me win. And then just providing leads and different things like that. So my company is just different. Like, you know, so.
I kind of want to start a brokerage firm. Like for the,
Look,
it just seems like a good business idea.
It is. And you don't have to be, I mean, look, if you want to do an equity play, we could talk.
What are we talking about? What are we doing?
I actually made a post about that recently. Like, just, you know, because I'm ready to really grow, you know, with regard to like the business side. Because I want to hire a qualifying broker, you know, to come in so that I can just own it and manage from a distance. And they're like, when I pop up in a meeting, it's like Gary Keller in the building.
Right,
you know what I mean?
For sure.
So that's where we're going and that's where we're headed. So
I'm gonna go get my license just so we can see what's happening.
It.
No, I'm gonna read one thing first. See, I'm all over the place. Golly. But it just seems so lit because you have almost 50 people. You get to build a culture. You get to inspire them to go work. And when they go work, they make more money, but the brokerage firm makes more money, which means you can be a stronger company. That is all. You are Black girl magic.
Thank you.
Goodness gracious. Okay, so so a couple of people come to follow you. Yeah. And at what point did you feel any pressure to take care of this tribe that you're building?
I felt pressure. I think once I hit like 10 agents, I was like, okay, it's really getting real. It's really getting real. So in my first space, it started out like a little box, like literally. I can't wait to do the then and now challenge. Sure. I'm waiting for my new space to be done, but I'm going to show, it's literally like a box. So growing from that, I was like, okay, I'm growing. I know I'm going to have to get a larger space. So I tried to do it the cheap route and I got a membership at the Gathering Spot, right?
Shout out to the
Gathering Spot. Shout out to you, Ryan.
Running your whole brokerage.
Running my whole brokerage. So, you know, I would just lease out the conference room.
Which is a co-working space, guys. If you're not
Shout out Black owned. So yeah, I would rent out the conference rooms and have my team meetings out of there. So what really hit me that I was growing, the conference rooms were getting too cluttered. You know what I mean? And that was one thing. But the other thing was the inconvenience of me having to be there for them to have guests, because I was the only one with the membership. So I'm like, okay, had to overcome that hurdle. Then the last thing, the final straw was like, look, Denise, you got to spend some money to really, really kill this thing. I was sitting down with a top producing agent and I really wanted her to join my team. Like, really, really bad. I was so excited. Came all dressed up. Look, you want lunch? Like, pulling out the works. Had a great meeting. At the end of it, she was like, I love everything that you've told me. I'm really excited about your company. Like, my last question is, so where's your office?
Where were you guys meeting at?
So I said,
where were you meeting?
We were in the gathering spot. We were in the gathering spot in the dining area, having our meeting. And it hurt me. I was like, I literally looked around. I literally looked left and right. I'll never forget that moment. And I was like, we're sitting in it. She's like, well, I have a lot of clients and I want to be able to meet with them in an office and da-da-da. So, I'll get back with you. She decided not to come on board because we didn't have a space. And I was like, you know what? I have to legitimize my business. I was nervous about jumping into another space because that's overhead, and it's a new business. But once I did that, my business exploded. So sometimes you have to really, they say build it and they will come, So I was like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. Just like I said at the start of this. So I got a place in Buckhead. So when I did that, what
was your lease?
What the
Did you lease it or buy the?
No, I leased it. Yep. So I got a lease in Buckhead, and as soon as you walk into the lobby, it looks like a museum. I was like, "Oh, I'm killing with this."
How much was it?
It's about $2,500.
Okay.
Yeah. So it wasn't bad. I actually found it
for a starting business.
Business. Yeah. And then that's not including like the escalations and things of that nature. So in commercial real estate, you got to watch out for those. But anyway, so got the space. And my business started to grow. Hired an assistant, just step by step, just kept taking strides and growing it. And so I was like, if I'm going to come into this business and really try to kill it, I'm going to go for the best. I mean, there's no other place that's better, more affluent that you can just say for an office space to be there. Even though it wasn't as large as I would have, liked, it was a start and it got us out of that co-working situation so that we could have more opportunities to really train and grow with space and things of that nature. So.
Gotcha. Amazing.
Yes. And now from there, we're upgrading again to a space that's is twice the size, more than twice the size of our current office. No, it's actually in the West End.
Okay.
Which we know is booming.
Oh, for sure. Did you buy it or lease it?
I'm leasing it again. So this is my last lease.
Gotcha. And
then after that, I'm buying. So I'm already kind of looking at my options. I'm kind of considering like making a container space office.
That would be.
Are you
into the container space?
Yeah, I actually did a training on that today. I'm not into it yet. I'm learning. It's an area that I'm really learning, but I've partnered with a guy who's done it. Like literally, if you're interested, like we could talk about that.
And it's a lot less expensive than.
It's less expensive. It's more efficient. You can move it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of going to be my next move. So I want to have something modern. Find a lot.
When I think of if somebody that's deep into real estate, I would think, you buy the building. What are the drawbacks behind buying it? And why don't you think buy first, being a broker in real estate?
I mean, and then that's the thing. Because one, let me tell you why too. I was considering buying the building, but coronavirus hit. So for me, it's like, okay, I don't know where this is going to go. If we continue to be in a virtual environment, I don't want to be stuck with the cost of a huge commercial space. So I was like, let me just lease again and see how this goes. Because what may happen is I can get something for really, really cheap in the next 3 to 5 years and really buy something that I want.
Do you think it's going to be a commercial crash? I hear it all the time. Who knows?
I feel like everything, like people make money in any industry. I think that certain sectors of the commercial real estate will take a huge hit, like retail. But I feel like industrial and warehouse will boom. Because think about it, where does the e-commerce products have to go? So if everybody's going to an online platform, then you have to have warehouse space to house this inventory because people aren't going to stop buying things. So, my other MBA is in supply chain management. So the warehousing and the supply chain, that's like another piece of my wheelhouse. I'm like really a nerd. But anyway, so, that sector of commercial real estate is going to be crazy. So, it just depends on what side you're on.
That's ill. Yo, and you might need me for a training for your office too, because I do human behavior science, like kind of leading with like.
So the disc profile that you were doing.
Yes. How'd you know?
I was on your live. I be checking you out.
Word?
Yeah.
We lit. I'm not to come to the office, you know what I'm saying? Show y'all what's happening out here. All right,
I'm an ID.
I did, yeah. So do you feel overstimulated sometime?
Yeah.
Doing the most? Solving your problems, working with people, solving everybody else's problems.
Absolutely. Even like today with the whole makeup situation, that definitely was a mistake because I have too much going on. So just so you know, insider, I was so like, I hate being late to anything. So I hit David. I'm like, oh my God, I might be like 10 minutes late. I'm trying to get my makeup situation squared away. Booked it for next Wednesday instead of this Wednesday because I have so many things going on in my mind. I literally showed up. It was closed. I'm like, hey, you on the way? She's like, I don't have you on the schedule for today. I'm like, yes, you do. It says February 10th, 1:30. She's like, today's the 3rd.
Doing too much.
Doing too much. I got to go back to that one thing book. I'm going to have to read it with you.
100%.
I'm going to have to read it with you.
Which leads me to, and I want to get back into real estate. I got a bunch of real estate questions. But you just took on a role with Rap Snacks.
Woo! Shout out to Rap Snacks.
Shouts out to Rap Snacks. So how did that come about?
All right, look, I know you're enjoying the episode, but I got to tell you, finally, you asked for it, and we created a Patreon, okay? We created an inner circle. We have amazing stories, amazing information, the how-tos from the episodes. The only thing we're missing is a community. So it's about that time. We put together a Patreon, we put together a community because we have to have conversation around the information. So even this podcast we're listening to right now, there needs to be conversation. I want to hear what you got. Like, let's throw some stuff back and forth. And because we're like-minded, we're all going in the same direction. When we connect in a community, we can connect on other stuff outside the community because we're building real relationships. Okay. So check out the Patreon. We got 3 tiers. I don't care what tier you join. The support is appreciated. Okay. Thank you so much. Now back to the episode.
So I actually, it was like over a year in the making. When I originally reached, so I have no connections to anyone at Rap Snacks. It's not like I have a cousin there, a friend there, nothing. It's just a brand that I saw years ago. And I was just like, this is dope. Like this concept is really, really dope. It just resonated with me. So when I would see the rappers and, moguls on these chip bags, I was like, I'm up and coming, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe I could just shoot my shot. So I sent them a message with the intent to get on a chip bag. That was like, I was like, maybe they can do like a limited edition chip, with entrepreneurs. I felt like that would be dope.
On Clubhouse to James and
you
P.
did? Don't try to come for my idea. I came up with it first.
No, first off, we're going to talk about that. It's about you, okay?
So this was before Pinky got her bag. So when I saw her bag, I was so hurt. I was like, oh, I loved it because she's my soror. I love Pinky. But I was like, dang, okay, so they are open to the idea of entrepreneurs. So hit them again, boom, no response. Continue to watch them, continue to engage with them, and just saw them continuing to like push forward and really, really grow. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to come at this a different way. So what I did was I reached out, and what's so beautiful about the environment that we're in right now, you can send a message and talk direct, to the people in charge. So I reached out to James, and I was just like, I have a real estate brokerage. I gave him the whole pitch. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to bullet point every little thing, that I can. And, I was like, with my company, we have a philanthropic arm. So we like to give back to foundations at closing. So my company does, my agents have the option to give back a percentage of their closing to a foundation at closing.
How do you get a part of that list of foundations?
It's really this list kind of that I picked. Okay. So they have the option to do their own, but then we also have our essentially preferred foundations.
Gotcha.
So
can I be on the list? I have a nonprofit, the Entrepreneurship Foundation, and I fund it myself, where I take the money and fund kids' businesses.
That's dope. Let's talk about that. Back. Oh, that's dope.
So I'll take a kid. It might be $1,000, and shouts out. We've done it a couple times where I bought their first run of products, and I kind of teach them the game, things of that nature. If I give $1,000, I teach them to go get the money and pay me back, and not that I need the money, but I'm trying to teach them like it's not like interest or nothing, but if somebody gives you money, you pay them back first, you manage the money right, and then you keep growing.
No, that's great.
And it's so dope because I just feel like I'm a part of the journey. And then we take that same $1,000 and we give it to another kid. And we go through that process again. So,
Oh, that's really dope.
yeah.
That's
But I funded
awesome.
myself, so it's not like I haven't like asked anybody for money.
Okay.
So, but anyway, go ahead.
Well, we can definitely talk about that, what that looks like.
For sure.
So I reached out and I was like, I would love to partner with the foundation. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, come at it. So
You gotta wiggle your way into a bag.
Right. If you're gonna, because I had to readdress what I was going into it as. I was going into it asking for something. But when you're going at something that big, you have to come with a heart to give. And that's my natural inclination, but I just thought that would be a dope spinoff of what they were already doing. But I'm like, no, let me go with the giving aspect. Like, let me give them something and then maybe. And that was the door that became open. So, one person to the next person to, Wise, shout out to Wise and James, and Master P for the opportunity. Ended up speaking to Wise, had a few meetings, boom, boom, boom. We talked. He's like, you need to fly out here. You know what I mean? So we met first, face to face, really kind of ironed out our ideas. He pitched the Buy Our Blocks incubator that he has going on. So basically, it's an entrepreneurship incubator under the foundation. I'm a part of the real estate arm of that. So the goal is to teach young people about real estate. So essentially, when you buy real estate as your primary residence, it's only really an investment if you buy it early. If you're 50 and you purchase your first home on a 30-year mortgage, you're 60 in 10 years. You're 70 in 20 years. You're not going to want to be, playing with your equity. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's going to be the last house you ever buy. You're not able to really leverage it as a tool. It's more of just, a payment at that point. So we're trying to bring that age gap down, lower so that people can actually buy a first home, then a second home, and maybe even a third home and really take advantage of the equity in the properties, versus just buying it because, now I want to buy a house. Let's use it because other communities use real estate. Like, I think a lot of times our culture get caught up in like, my first house has to be my dream house versus if we were really taught at a younger age coming out of college or something like that when our credit is the best, and purchase just a house that we can rent out and we start building that up earlier, the wealth gap wouldn't be so large. And obviously we had redlining and things like that hurt us. But now that we're more educated, like let's give back so that the next generation can start to use that strategy. So
explain redlining real quick.
So basically redlining was when the government blocked out our ability to purchase real estate, because of the color of your skin. So banks wouldn't lend to us.
And then just because of the area.
Just because of different areas. Exactly. Now it's against the law, to do that. So thank goodness that that's no longer the case, even though there are still hurdles that we have to overcome. But with the incubator specifically, it's a two-part process with the real estate. So one side is teaching people how to purchase their first property. And then the second part is teaching them how to own their first investment property. So really kind of basic level, nothing too crazy, but just really introducing these ideas to the public. So we're going to roll it out to colleges and then also the public. So check that out in March. We'll have that, going out.
So you connect with them. You talk to James.
Yes.
He likes the idea of you partnering with the foundation.
Yes.
Then you get connected with Wise, I suppose.
Uh-huh.
And then how does it come? What's your title with Raps Next?
The Chief Information Officer.
The Chief Information Officer. What do you do?
So as the Chief Information Officer, so we understand now that information is currency, right? So by knowing that, even though this title didn't exist, say 5-10 years ago, now we understand how important it is for our businesses to pivot into more of a virtual platform, to learn how to adjust to the education that people are now learning from. So now we have more of an a la carte interest in our education. So no one's really interested in going through the traditional way of learning, going to college. It's just a big shift right now from going into college. So as a chief CIA, it's important now that I'm bringing on other entrepreneurs to teach their specific industries in a different and creative way. So we're adjusting to how the culture is interpreting education, if you will. So if you have an interest in real estate, get an expert in the industry from that. If you want to learn about trucking, get an expert in it. So we're kind of using and leveraging different people's skill sets to create an entire incubator for our youth.
Gotcha. Well, so let me ask you this though. So do you work for are you the CIO?
Yes.
CIO of Raps Next or the foundation?
The foundation. So the foundation is my baby, yes.
Gotcha. So it's your goal to grow the foundation.
The foundation's relationships.
Gotcha, in terms of educating our youth.
Absolutely. And that's why the EYL podcast was so important to get them connected, because we really want to get the message out about the brand and what, amazing things that they have going on. Like, I'm extremely proud of them. Like, the chip bag is literally the tip of the iceberg. for all the things that they have going on. They have a summit coming up February 27th as well, where we'll be talking to youth. Yes. Yes. About, different varieties of education, similarly to what we just talked about. So real estate, wealth management. I think they're talking about agriculture. Like there's just a lot of different things that they have going on.
So have you had the conversation about you being on the bag yet? Did you bring that up? You didn't bring that back up?
I haven't brought it back up. You got to pay your dues.
Oh,
for sure, so you got to pay your dues for something like that. But if they ever want a special edition wise, James,
Oh, for sure. All right, so I wanted to say, I do like the Dorito Dave joint, right?
Okay.
And I'm like, for one, a million people tag me like, yo, you should do rap snacks, they black owned.
Okay.
Because Doritos ain't black. I do love Doritos, but I don't know the company, but and it rhymes with Dave, Dorito Dave.
Yeah, Dorito Dave, yeah.
So first off, you just got to talk to James because he's super busy. Yeah. And when I was at the office, he's like, yeah, I got you.
James is the coolest person on the planet.
Super cool.
He's the coolest.
But I'm trying to reach out to him, and so but you my plug. So but I didn't even want anything. I don't want anything in terms of like a money.
Yeah.
Because I was like, they had all those boxes of rap snacks. I was like, I'll buy a box. Just give me a box and I'm gonna make some videos and you won't like it. It's gonna be a dope way to get the information and the message behind the rap snacks out because I'm dope at this.
You are dope at this. You are.
So you can call James after this.
I'll call James.
Okay, so how do you balance those? So you're the chief information officer for Rap Snacks, which is an amazing company, which is, I bet the network is awesome because you get to just hang out with Master P and James and Wise and Intelligent. That's crazy. Yeah. And then you have your brokerage, which you're responsible for, not responsible, but kind of responsible for the success of 58, 59 agents right now. How do you balance that?
So you have to hire. So I have an executive assistant.
For which side?
For Williams & Co.
Williams & Co.
Yeah, so Williams & Co. I also have brought on an associate broker who helps me. And then I have a leadership team. So I have agents who are top producing agents who basically help with the onboarding of new agents. So they essentially act as mentors to the new agents that come on board. So that's why I have to really put checks and balances with regard to my growth, because I really could be larger than what I am, but I try to grow based on how much I can handle. Because to me, I don't want the quality of my service to go down. So even every agent that I interview, I don't bring on. Because if it's not a right cultural fit, because I feel like you can train people on sales, but you can't train personalities.
Give me an example of somebody you was like, nah, you're not a good fit.
It was an agent who I interviewed who just really had a bad attitude, if that makes it. It was like, came in with like this, like, okay, so what do y'all do? All right, so, well, I need this. And it's just like, no. You have to come into it with an open mind, be trainable, be teachable. You know what I mean? I've had an older agent who kind of talked to me like I was her child because she's older. But, and I haven't faced that too much, surprisingly, which is great because I have agents that are older than me on my team and it's all respect. It's all love. So I've kind of had those two instances for sure that just, stick out to me. But I also just won't if I feel like they don't have the juice. You know what I'm saying? So it's just something about the juice that, you can tell someone who's a brand new agent and they have a passion to win. But if you're a new agent, it's just like, oh, yeah, I got my license because my friend, told me I should get it. And, no.
So you're not into babysitting?
No. No, not at all.
Facilitating, training, coaching,
yes.
not babysitting.
Not babysitting.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. So in terms of balancing it all.
Yes. So having that help, to answer your question, yes, just having them to lean on. So the agent calls aren't super overwhelming because again, it's a volume game. So not every agent is producing per se. Some may have a few, some may have a lot. So the calls vary from day to day. Gotcha. And because it's a virtual career, it's not like I'm having to meet with them one-on-one. It's just a matter of picking up the phone and answering a question, sending an email. We also have online platforms that they can go into and like type in their questions. We have a company Facebook group where they can just have a quick question and other agents can answer. If they're like, hey, does anybody know, the name of an inspector or something I can use for this situation? So we share a lot. And that's why community inside of brokerage is so important. And that's why I get a lot of agents who have been with the larger firms because they don't have that personal touch.
Gotcha.
They don't have that ability to communicate. It's like they interview with the broker at one time and then they never had a personal phone number. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just a sale. So Keller Williams, their setup is a corporate real estate brokerage. It's not, it's nothing wrong with it. It's just a corporate company. Yeah, it's not boutique. So.
Gotcha. So do you have to spend a lot of time with the foundation?
I go to Miami once a month. So again, I can do things and log in virtually. So that's not super demanding. Obviously, it's going to pick up as I continue to build and establish that relationship. But again, I would just scale back with the hiring. I would just put a pause on it. You know what I mean? But and I also have like online classes.
So you would scale back with the hiring?
Yeah, I'll just hire less agents or not hire.
So why that doesn't make sense to me, because the goal is to build your firm, right? So are you sacrificing the growth of the firm for the foundation?
Correct.
Or?
I would, so you're asking for balance. So if I felt like that was going to hinder me from going after this opportunity, I would slow that part down. So sometimes, when you focus on one thing, this could be my next level of success. You know what I mean? Right. So I'm okay with that. I've been a broker and I've been doing this for a while. So as I mentioned, and I also can hire a qualifying broker to take my place. Yeah. So it's not like I have to. So it's options. I can either make it smaller, I can hire and continue to grow. I just pull the strings as I come across it.
Gotcha. And you're obviously really excited about this opportunity.
Yes.
What's the vision? What's the vision for that? Because I don't see how. What is your vision on how it could grow and the potential?
I mean, I think that it can be the largest brand in the world. Not just because the chips are so good, but like I said, it's the tip of the iceberg. They have a genuine passion for helping our culture. And I feel like anytime you build a company that at the core foundation is to help people, it can do nothing but grow. And because it's so unique, and you can't really think of any other large brands that are in the grocery stores in the way that they are, because it's not just chips. They have rice, they have fish fry, they have noodles, they have, we're literally taking over shelves in grocery stores. Right. So this brand is so big, like the potential of it is so massive that, I know that it's going to require more of my time. And I've loved real estate. I've given this, several years of my life. I've been doing it since 2012. So I'm fine with growing to something else.
Did Master P bring the bigness to the company?
He partnered with James. He did help with that for sure. But he's leveraging a lot of the, if you look at any chip bag, they're all different celebrities. So his reach is just insane. So James used to manage Meek Mill. So he's already been in that space, for a while.
Yeah.
So we just dropped Lil Baby's chips. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't see him.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. But so you're not on the side of the distribution of the chips.
Right, not the distribution.
You're just
on the foundation. Okay. Yeah.
So and you alluded to a book. Is it out already?
Which one?
You said it's in your book. My
book. Yes, my book is out. It's called From Broke to Broker. It can be found on my website, DeniseWilliams.com.
From broke to broker. That's hard. So what is your ultimate goal as a person, as an entrepreneur? Like, who is Denise in the future?
In the future? So 5-10 years from now?
Yeah. Hold on, don't answer that because that's my last question. Let's just do the question now. I do the question all the time. Let me just ask you. So I like to make predictions on the podcast.
Okay,
and you're the first person that's disrupting my order.
I'm a disruptor. Listen.
Normally it's the last question, but I got some more for you. I like to make predictions on the podcast. So I want to know where you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years so that we can look back at this video and say, I had Denise on the podcast 5 years ago. You see what she's doing now? She said that 5 years ago.
Oh, so that's dope. That's a dope question.
Ago, what do you see?
So I know we've all been on Google, right? We've typed things in, we've searched for whatever it is. And when you search that thing, you only look at what's on the first page, right? No one clicks page 4, 5, and 6. So for me, where I see myself 5-10 years from now, when that Forbes list comes out, I don't want to be on page 4, 5, and 6. I want to be on page 1. Okay, so that's my goal. And in order to get there, I want to be a part of billion-dollar conversations. There are real estate transactions that are billion-dollar transactions. So I want to be in the rooms where commercial development is happening. I want to get into spaces where I'm building and growing mixed-use developments and things of that nature, because that's really where the large checks come. Yeah. I'm no longer interested in really fighting anyone over selling a $400,000 house.
Right.
There's no longer, I'm grateful, but ultimately, as far as projections, because deals like that are happening all the time. A lot of them don't happen on Instagram. And that's what people don't realize. So I'm working and trying to network and build to get into those types of conversations.
So Are you a billionaire or like what is it? Like, give me some
not in
specifics
10 years. I don't
like,
think I'll, be a billionaire in 10 years, but I want to get myself into rooms where they're talking about those types of deals, those types of transactions, like $1 billion transactions. Like literally, if you think about the skyscrapers that are built, the stadiums that are built, why aren't we a part of when the Mercedes-Benz Stadium? Why wasn't I the agent on that deal?
Right.
You know what I mean? So working my way to getting to that type of conversation is definitely a goal. Personally, I want to have more babies.
Okay.
So hopefully I'm happily married by just one.
Just one? How old?
It's 12.
12
so it's going to be a huge gap.
12?
I know.
I'm not even going to give you an age, but I promise you I thought you was like 25.
Keep it that way.
Right?
Keep it that way. Keep that same energy.
So you got a 12-year-old.
I have a 12-year-old.
You got an amazing little boo right now.
Yes,
yes.
Yes.
It's a nice situation.
Shout out to Austin. I love you. We've been together 3 years now.
3 years?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, since you started your brokerage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's awesome.
So you seem like a woman that is like aggressive, going after the goal. Like, I see it, I want it, I gotta have it. How does that play into your relationship?
It's a learning experience because he actually has partnered with my team as well. He's a licensed agent.
Oh, nice.
So it took him a little while to come over. Obviously, as you can imagine, it's kind of that battle. Like, do I want her in my business like that? Do I not? You know what I mean? But he is such a team player. Like, he's such a team player. Like, he helps me with my ideas. It's so funny. We have an inside joke. It's like, all right, Denise, what's your big idea for this week? Like, when you got another big idea. Every time we get a little money, you got a big idea. So his support is incredible. But I've had to learn that, when I'm in the boardroom and outside of that, it's two different things. It's two different types of energies because I'm like rah, 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 super aggressive. And he's like my calmness, he's very, very. So I've had to learn to like bring that down and tone that and meet him where he is so that I'm never making him feel like less of a man just because of my personality or my intensity. But I also feel like he holds his own and like, you don't have to be rah, rah to make a statement known. Like, it's almost like a child. He doesn't treat me like a child, but it's like, with some parents, all you got to do is look at them and they feel your energy.
You be out here doing the most.
I'll be doing the most and he'll just be like, and I'd be like, all right, all right, I'm going to just chill out just a little. You're going a little too hard, So he's a man of few words, but when he speaks, it's impactful. It's powerful, And so he respects me. I respect him. And we work together. We collaborate on so many different ideas. He's like the smartest man I know. He's attending Yale University right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we're doing the distance thing. Lord.
So how did that happen? How did y'all connect?
How do we connect?
Yeah.
Did
you shoot your shot? You seem like she seemed like the type to shoot a shot. Like, hey, bro.
Call me Jordan, honey. Listen, we just call me MJ. No longer Denise. So yes, I did slide in the DMs.
Love it. I'll do it.
So it's funny because we met in person first. He was actually interviewing for the company I was an associate broker with. And so when he came in, I was like, okay, you come in, you joining the team, and he didn't join. So I did my little follow-up, which I do with everybody who didn't, join at that time, just to see what we could have changed, what we could have done differently, whatever. And so he kept saying, well, I have some deals to close out, got deals to close out or whatever. Because I might have followed up with him a little bit more than I would have followed up with, other people. I was like, dang, okay, so he's not coming over. So I just kind of forgot about it or whatever, kept doing my thing. And then I don't know how we ended up following each other on social media, but one way or another we did. And he made a post where he was, training children at his church because his father is a pastor. So he was teaching children and I have a son. So, I'm all about going at things a different way. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay.
First off, I've never heard a woman with these tactics. This is normally the man. Like, you tutoring kids? I got a daughter. You can tutor my tactics.
Okay. Look, some women like to show their body. I'm going to show my mind. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, cool. Like, Destin really needs to learn financial literacy too. Like, you teaching what day? Wednesday? All right, cool. So I was like, what's the cost for your classes? I have a son. I would love for him to come in and hear you teach. He's like, it's free. Whatever, you can just bring him. I'm like, okay, bet. Well, my son ain't never been to none of them. He might have gone to one in the 3 years we've been dating. Maybe one. Listen, so, we ended up going on a date like the next week. I was actually supposed to go out of town.
So what happened to the class? You was just like...
I was just like, look, I got what I want now,
So you took the son to the class.
No. So we went on a date. You just went
to the class?
No. That was just in the DMs. We continued to talk in the DM, and then we went on a date. Maybe like, a few days or so later. We were supposed to go like the next week because I was going out of town like 2 or 3 days after that. But I was like, nah, we could just meet like this.
You need to apologize because you used your child. Okay, you really used your child as a pawn. Okay.
No, I really genuinely wanted him to go to the class. I did. And so it's so funny. So yeah, we ended up going on a date, and I've literally like there has not been one day that I've not talked to this man.
That's
like
amazing.
We've talked every single day since. And so yeah, I mean, Destin may not go to the class, but they have a great relationship now. That's all that matters.
You are so funny. Oh my gosh.
That's how that came to be. So yeah.
Yeah.
Go after what you want.
How did you develop this this go after what you want mentality? You know what I mean? Like, is that something that have you always been like that? Did something in your life happen to where you developed this?
No, I've always been ambitious, like from a child. Like I've always wanted big things. I always wanted more. Like people, it's so funny. Like friends that know me from like school, they always call me extra before it was like a thing. Like you're always doing the most.
Extra.
Always, I've been extra. Like if I was gonna do something, if I was on the cheerleading team, I was the captain. If I was on the track team, I was the captain. If I like literally no cap.
Tell me about your parents. Did you grow up with your parents?
Yes, I did.
Did they encourage this?
My parents weren't really. No, not necessarily.
So just
like,
innate.
It's just innate. Like I really don't know exactly where I got my hustle from. Per se. I think just the environment. Like I grew up with, not a lot. Like a lot of guests, on your podcast grew up from not having a lot of things. I didn't. But for me, that is what pushes me to like not ever feel that or experience that again. So I grew up, I like to say, I come from the small island of Hinesville, Georgia. But no, it's just a little country town. Country town. So yeah, I don't come from much of anything. Even my move to Atlanta was really a step out on faith. Like I slept on my cousin's couch when I graduated college because I really just wanted something bigger. I've always just had that like bigger mentality. So I'm grateful for it. Like I'm the fourth oldest of 6, but I'm like the mama bear. Like they look at me like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just how I am.
Amazing.
It just
because like I try to like decode like where a person's personality comes from. And typically you could find it in their story, something, maybe some kind of dramatic thing happened where you couldn't have something. You're like, yo, I feel like I deserve it.
Yeah.
But you can't really pinpoint it. It was just...
Yeah, it's just kind of natural. I think it's a natural thing. Also, I mean, I did watch my parents work really, really hard, to provide for 6 children. Yeah. That's really tough back then, especially with the wages that they made and things like that. So I definitely want to give them some credit, but I'm just grateful for the personality that God gifted me with, It just is what it is. Like, yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. We'll wrap up. Are you more focused on building your business or building your personal brand in this point?
At this point in time? That's a really good question because I feel like I started out really focused on building my business. So I used to be very behind the scenes with Williams & Co. Like when I first started, because I was just like, no, I don't want to be the black girl on the, like, I don't know what to do with that, So I was really focused on just like the logo. But when I realized like nobody falls in love with the logo, no one's going to fall in love with stock images on your page.
For sure.
You have to give them personality. You have to give them something to know, like, and trust. And so when I realized that, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to flip the script. Because public speaking used to like not be my thing. Yeah. Like, you know how I text you, I'm like, okay, so what, are we going to have questions? You're like, I'm not telling you nothing. Like, just show up.
Yeah,
just show up. So like, this is literally
I sent you my bio and a copy of my book. Do you want to check it out?
Like, do you want to check it out? And then I walk in here, he's like, oh, by the way, I didn't read your bio. I didn't read your book. We're just going to talk. I'm like... So, I forgot the question. What were we just saying?
Are you more focused on building your business?
My business. So when I realized like my business wasn't growing as much as I feel like it could have because it was so good and I did it so, well, that it wasn't until I made the switch to really focus on who is Denise? What kind of principles do you have? What kind of personality do you have? And so since I've been more active and, posting more pictures and videos of who I am, it's attracted so much more, so many more people to me. So I think like for small business owners out there, when you are building a business, like you have to be you. You cannot hide from the camera.
Yeah.
You can't hide from, posting your pictures. Like I hear that so much. And I tell them, I'm like, do you either want to open your mouth and speak or do you want to remain broke? Like you have to talk to make money, especially in today's time and especially in my industry. Like if you want to make money in real estate, you have to get in front of that camera.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Period. So, and I think that's trickling over to every industry. Mm-hmm. So once I decided to like, one person made the comment to me, and this is what got me over my fear of public speaking. It was, the person in the front of the room makes the most money. And so I was like, but think about that. You're paying admission to come see someone speak. You're sitting in the chair. You're not really connecting. You're not making money. But when that person goes up there and they open their mouth, everybody in the room is ready to pull out their checkbook to either buy your course, to buy your books, to buy your, whatever it is that you have. Mm-hmm. So you're just there to like support them. But if you're never in that seat, you're just a consumer. You're not really, you're not making a big change in your personal life. So I was like, no, I'm going to start getting on stages. I'm going to start speaking. I'm going to start reaching out. So even with you, I'm like, okay, he don't want to, all right. I'm going to give him a little time. He going to warm up to me. I'm going to get on that podcast. Marquel, where you at?
Right. And bitch, yes, because I don't, did you reach out to me directly at all?
I did. And you left me on red.
Well, I apologize. Yo, I'm glad you said that. Yo, somebody hit me today. And they was like, I guess I met her somewhere. And she's like, yo, I want to get on your podcast and tell my story. And I think I might have left on, not intentionally.
Not intentionally. And I don't hold that kind of stuff. And that's another thing, people, like, as you level up, like, you're going to get hit with so many things. Like, my DMs are starting to go crazy, like, to the point where I feel like I need to get a virtual assistant to, like, really respond to my personal stuff. It's going to get worse
after this podcast, too.
Right. Look, hit me up. I'm trying to be Beyonce in real estate. So yeah, it's just like, I totally get it. Like, I understand. So what do? You go at it another way. Like, I feel like that's going to be the caption on the words.
Right. Go at it another way. But here's what was crazy. So she sent me a long message. Yeah. Now, so when somebody sends you a message like this.
Yeah.
Do you read it?
You don't have time to read that whole thing. You have to just, boom, it has to be something that sticks out.
And when I saw it, I got anxiety.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Or I'm doing something.
The bio right then.
Yeah. Or I'm doing something and I'm like, all right, I'll read it. I'll get back to it. But obviously by that time, I forget about it.
And I also think that people have this, I guess, expectation that you owe them something, like that because you have this outlet, you should put me on. And it's like, no, what social proof do you have? Like, there has to be a win-win. I want people to watch my videos. So that's why I'm very specific about who goes on my podcast. Just because you're a nice person, that does not mean you get to sit in this chair.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know how to say that, though.
Well, look.
I'm so like...
Say it like this. Hey, what is your social proof? How have you impacted the world? How have you impacted your community? Like, there needs to be specific things that you can leverage for your podcast, because I'm here to help you grow too.
Yeah.
So just like, you're here to help me grow, my network now is going to see you. So we have to have some type of exchange. And if you can't present that, then you have to just level up a little bit more. Not to say that, or start at smaller levels. I've done podcasts where the person has 300 followers. Mm-hmm. And I feel like those podcasts were preparing me for the big stage.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I had the shaky voice and nose. When I get to sit with you or EYL and things like that, it's a different kind of energy because I've practiced.
Yeah, for sure.
So do it that way.
Yeah, man. No long messages, okay? Then I was like, yo, and she's like, yo, you were much different when I met you in person. Oh, and now I feel like I'm like, yo, first off, I get hundreds of DMs every day.
Yeah.
You're sending me a message. Mm-hmm. So you're looking at it from your perspective. This is what I text her. I said, yo, it's very unfair.
Yeah, it is.
I'm supposed to reply to you, but like I got mad people. Then she's like, I'm sorry. Then I just unfollowed her. And, yeah, that was it. But
yes.
I want to say this was I'm inspired to like go build. I don't think I've been dreaming big enough.
That's surprising. It comes from you.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
You are super ambitious.
I am.
I would never even think to be running my own business and then say, yo, I'm going to take over another industry in that business too.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm
You have to be bold. You have to be bold to get the billions. That's how I feel.
Gotta be bold.
You have to. That's a bar.
I'm going to still put that on the gram. I'm gonna post it on the gram.
You have to.
But this is very, very cool. It's like you're super impressive as well.
Thank you.
Like the #1 female-owned real estate brokerage in Atlanta, and that's huge.
Yes. And one of the youngest in the nation. Like if you really just look at the scale of brokers, you don't really become a broker when you're young. Like I became a broker at 27. People don't do that. Normally you're in the industry, late 30s, 40s, 50s, and you decide to get a broker or you buy a franchise. So, really, really just trying to break and disrupt some of this, the status quo.
Freaking disruptor, man. Look, I gotta do an interview. I gotta do what's it called? A commercial real quick, okay?
Okay.
But I need you to think of something really deep so you can close this out. You gotta put a bow on this whole interview.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Think of something deep, strong, okay?
Deep,
now I'm gonna do this commercial real quick.
Okay.
And I'm gonna come back to you.
Okay.
You gotta have it.
Okay.
All right, cool. So this episode is sponsored, as always, by The Morning Meetup, themorningmeetup.com. Themorningmeetup.com is the only organization that gathers every single day for the betterment of entrepreneurs at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every single day, Monday through Friday. Denise, did you know that there's a group of people, hundreds of entrepreneurs gather on a Zoom call every morning at 8 a.m. And there's a theme for the month, but every week I'll put out a flyer of the topics of the themes that support the month theme, and every day we support the monthly. So for instance, last month we did the millionaire mindset. So every topic we were talking about developing this millionaire mindset, and I brought on about 13 millionaires.
Oh, nice.
And I interviewed them so we can identify what's going on up here and how they think. They think much differently.
Wow.
Their conversations are different, right? So this month we're on human behavior, actually.
Nice.
I don't know what next month will be, but every month we have a different theme. So we gather every single day, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm on the call every day. And I'm coaching entrepreneurs from all across the country. Isn't that amazing?
That is so awesome. So dope. Y'all make sure y'all check that out. I'll have to check that out.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. Yo, we have literally, we have millionaires, multimillionaires that join it for the community because there's like hundreds of entrepreneurs here. So make sure you go to themorningmeetup.com. I'm going to do something very special for you. You don't need a promo code or anything, but if you go to themorningmeetup.com, you get to join for $1 for a week. Taste test us just to see if it's dope or not. If you like the vibe, stay. If you don't have to stay. It is $79 a month after that, but you get a call every single day, Monday through Friday. It's really 20 conference calls.
Wow.
20.
That's awesome.
It's it's really put on a conference every week.
So, you love them conferences.
I love them. I love them. That's why you probably need some help with the rap station.
Absolutely. I got you. Look, you already know.
I got
you. You already know.
So go to themorningmeetup.com and enroll right now for $1. Okay. Now, Denise, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We got some business to handle.
We do.
For sure. After we cut these cameras off, there's a lot we need to talk about.
Absolutely. I'm with it.
Because I feel like if I talk to you right, if it got something to do with a bag and it's really ambitious, Denise is with it.
I'm on it.
Let's go. All right, so please let the people know how they can get in touch with you.
Yes, so you can check me out on all social media platforms at Denise the Broker. So that's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and then also my website, denisethebroker.com. And my company is at Williams & Co. Realty, and then Williams & Co. Internationalrealty.com.
Good.
So...
All right. Well, look, man, you got to close this out. You got to take us home. This got to be something that people are going to remember.
They got to remember.
There's a young...
The pressure.
Oh, yeah. There's a young brown girl that thinks she's too young, not pretty enough, not smart enough, doesn't come from a good background, or somebody's just in a real tough spot. So what would you tell them?
What I would tell them is being you is your superpower. Never try to be someone else. And in the spirit of being me, one of my favorite things to do is to surprise people and also to give gifts. So, David, I have a gift for you.
You have a gift for me?
I have a gift for you. Because one of the things that I noticed on all of your episodes is that you've given so many people opportunities to leverage your platform, and I've never seen anyone give you a gift.
Oh,
so you wait 1 second.
I get a gift. She's going to grab me a gift. This is amazing.
Oh, here you go, David. Thank you for this opportunity.
You.
So
can I open it on camera?
You can open it on camera.
Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, Raz Snacks. Okay, I'm eating these right after the show. Let's see. There's some more stuff in here. Oh!
You get a
go from
signed
broke
copy
to
of my book.
I got a signed copy. Listen, go get this book, From Broke to Broker. How to turn your pain, pitfalls, and poverty mindset into profit, power, and prosperity. Ooh.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
There's more in here though.
Yes.
Hold on. We got some.
And so I also noticed that you wear a t-shirt or a hoodie on every single podcast. So why not? You know what I mean? When one of those days when you just need to throw something on, you know.
I love. Here's the thing, because I've been looking at your sweatshirt. I'm like, I had to get the gold in there. That is hard. I love it. You are a class act.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So I wanted to say thank you. And so when it comes to being profound or standing out or being different, I always appreciate those that help you get to where you are. So I will forever be grateful for the day I met you and also for this opportunity to allow me to be on your podcast today.
Wow. Man, look, do me a favor, man. Y'all got to go follow Denise, okay? That was, I'm really emotional right now. Everybody just look at the platform. They like, I just want to be on, and they do their thing and they leave. I feel like I get hoed out a little bit. Like, I just leave.
No, I can't. Exactly. I scrolled. I scrolled. I haven't seen a handshake, a hug, or, anything. And so that's something that I genuinely love to do is to just really show appreciation through gifts. I think that's my love language. So
I love it. Yeah.
Denise,
you are awesome.
Couldn't get too fancy. You married. I don't want her look. Don't have that. Don't have her back.
She good. Well, you already talked about baby, so we are. We good.
Congratulations on the baby.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
She's coming. That's so awesome. Absolutely. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Listen, do me a favor, y'all. Go follow Denise, right? And if you are a broker, if you're an agent in the city, check her out. If you're serious about your business, you want to be a part of the culture, I definitely recommend it. If I was an agent, I promise you I would hang my license with you right now. So listen, do me a favor, y'all. Go get some social proof, meaning go build something and then show your community how you built it. Okay, that's the only way our community grows. Okay,
absolutely.
So we are out of here. I'll see y'all next episode.
Peace.
What if I told you for $1, I will introduce you to hundreds of entrepreneurs every single morning this week? From all across the country, you'll be able to talk to hundreds of entrepreneurs, and I'll coach you. I'll coach you for $1 this whole week, and I'll introduce you to some of my successful friends for $1 this week. Would you take part in that? Well, go to themorningmeetup.com because that's exactly what we're doing here, okay? The only organization that gathers entrepreneurs every single day for the betterment of entrepreneurship, okay? Every single day, Monday through Friday, we gather, we're growing, we're learning. We got a book club. Have you ever seen hundreds of entrepreneurs reading the same book? Every single chapter, every single day, we're growing together, okay? You need the environment to grow in. Themorningmeetup.com, $1. I'm gonna give you all this for $1. If you wanna stay, great. It's $79 a month after that. If not, no obligation. You can leave whenever you want. All right? Themorningmeetup.com. I'll see you in the morning.